we are going to do a review of the Death Armies. We kind of have I don't know. It's weird to kind of review stuff without all the information, you know? And everyone's kind of doing it, right? So it's like all the YouTubers are doing these faction-focused reviews. But I kind of wanted to see all of them first, and I also wanted to definitely see the destruction ones, like orcs and goblins, whatever, right? So now we kind of have all that information, so let's have a look. Thanks to all my patrons. Wibarian makes good art. Buy some dice. Green screen. Boom. Oops. Flesh Eater Quartz. So I made a video about this one. It was like how to beat, like how to win against Flesh Eater Quartz. And essentially it was the same as my like how to win series, except on not like green skins, right? And then with like a thing at the end of like how to actually defeat the army. So let's check out these battle traits. Noble Deeds. A passive. For each Flesh Eater Court hero, each Flesh Eater Court hero starts the battle with 0 Noble Deed points and can have a maximum of 6 Noble Deed points at once. Each time a friendly Flesh Eater Court's hero uses a fight ability, after that ability has been resolved, give that hero a number of Noble Deed points equal to the number of damage points inflicted by that ability. Do not count attacks made with companion weapons. So they slap things, deal X damage, and then gain X Noble Deed points. And no mounts. So the zombie dragons can't use their zombie dragons. Right? Good. Each time a friendly Flesh Eater Court priest hero uses a prayer ability, and that prayer is answered, that after that ability has been resolved, give that hero 1 Noble Deeds points. And then same thing for spells, right? Chant a prayer, get a point. Use a spell, get a point. Cool. That's how you get points. So in your movement phase, so this is 5 times a game, right? In your movement phase, pick a friendly courtier hero that has 1 or more Noble Deed points to use this ability. Spend either 1 or 2 of that hero's Noble Deed points. If you spend 1 Noble Deeds point, return 1 slain model to a friendly serf's unit, wholly within 12 inches of it. If you spend 2 Noble Deed points, return 1 slain model to a friendly knight's unit, wholly within 12 inches of it. So, yeah, good. So it's like, 1 point for the whatever and 2 points for the bigger guys. And then we'll see if they have any enhancements that interact with this, because they did in the previous book. So, but so far, it's like so good. It's not really that much different so far at all. Yep. Summon loyal subjects. Declare, pick a friendly abhorrent hero that has 6 Noble Deed points to use this ability. Then pick a friendly serfs or knights unit that has been destroyed to be the target. So the abhorrent ability. Spend all of that hero's Noble Deed points. All gone. Set up a replacement unit with half the number of models from the target unit, rounding up, wholly within 6 inches of a battlefield edge, more than 9 inches from all enemy units. Right, so this is you get the whole unit back. So the thing to remember is that Usharon is an abhorrent, right? And because Usharon is an abhorrent, he's going to generate a lot of Noble Deed points when he fights. So he's going to be like this primary generation abhorrent machine. So whenever you think abhorrent, you have to think Usharon. So, I mean, like, it's really strong and good. It's worse than it was in third. In third, you could heal that unit or rally that unit or whatever back up to, like, being not half strength but full strength. And that ability is ridiculous and way over the top. So this is like a more fair version. You still get to, like, recover all these units and, like, bring them back all the time. Like, this is a fun army to play. You just don't run out of guys. They just keep coming back. Yep, and then also a once per turn army, your hero phase ability. Pick any number of friendly abhorrents to be the target, heal D3 each target. Right. And they generally have, like, pretty good wounds, too, like, if from what I remember. Let's see, do they have one? No, I guess that doesn't really count. Crypt Guard, Zombie Dragon, Marrow Scroll, and Usharon. Okay, we get to see Usharon. I read this, but it's been a while, right? Cool. So this used to be on all the Importance War Scrolls, but it's not anymore, so that's fine. Let's return army your hero ability, or your hero phase. So yeah, I mean, these rules are still good, I think. Right? And so what it's gonna feel like as like a Cruel Boys player, like as a castle sort of player, so also maybe like trolls too, it's gonna feel like they're just sort of coming at you from all directions all the time, because you're slow. Right? Because the battlefield edge is like not the strongest thing ever, but it's just kind of annoying and scary if you, depending on the map, right? If you want to like move out into it, it can be really challenging. So if you're playing more like the castle, that's how it's going to be, right? Just like stuff coming from all directions all the time. And if you're a really aggressive army, like if you're Squigs or if you're like Iron Jaws, maybe it's going to be really tough to watch your backlines because you're not as mobile. So like your War Chanters, your Fungoid Cave Shamans are going to be way more exposed in the back. So you're going to have to pay essentially a tax of like rear guard, you know, of something like some cheap screen or some utility unit or something, but something's going to have to just like watch your butt all the time. So, I mean, it's, yeah, it's still really strong, I feel. Just in a vacuum, right? And I think it'll still do what it is, like kind of what it did in the previous edition. Gore Splattered Hunters. So this is one of the combat patrols. Nope, sorry, that's the wrong word. What are they called again? Battle formations. They're sub-factions, right? You pick one of these battle formations. Gore Splattered Hunters. When players are alternating picking units to use the fight ability, when it's your turn to pick a unit, you can pick 2 Crypt Ghouls instead of 1. Neither unit can have strike last. Resolve the second fight ability immediately after the first. So, I mean, like, I don't know, if you want to spam a bunch of ghouls, I guess, but like I don't know. The playstyle doesn't really interest me. Does it interest you? A ton of ghouls all slapping against some shielded up Ard boys or something. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're gonna see a lot of reinforced like battle line type units. I have a feeling you're gonna see it. Like it'll be either like, oh, it's 20 Gut Rippas, right? Or it's 40 Gut Rippas. But you won't see like 2 10s. You'll see like reinforced units for sure, I think, in this. But I mean, we shall see. Okay, so 2 ghouls fight, like whatever, it's not that interesting. So this is the manifestation. If there is not a friendly Corpse Mare Stampede on the battlefield, pick a friendly Flesh Eater Quartz Wizard to cast a spell, then make a casting roll of 2d6. You need a 7 or more effect. Set up a Coral Stampede wholly within 9 of the caster visible to them and more than 9 from all enemy units. So you can cast these things and then they can move in your movement phase, right? So they still sort of get to move right away, in essence, is how they're going to feel. So they're wholly within, what was it, 9, right? And then this thing comes out with a move of 12. So from the wizard, right? It's 21 inches. So that's a lot of inches, right? Because like the different, like 9 away from each other's thing is 18. So, like, I don't know, this thing will kind of move a little bit. That's its strength, is this 12 move. Has a 5-up save and 10 health. 20 will get blown up by Chaos Knights. I mean, we'll see. Like, I don't know, I'm just talking out my butt. Right? Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here saying a lot of things. Right? Like, hopefully some of you say enough things, some of it will stick. You make a million predictions, I could make a sweet, like, you know, oh, look at all the predictions I got right, but like percentage-wise, it was really poor. Right? I could do that. So 10 attacks, 5s and 3s, 0 rend 1 damage. So just a bunch of slappy hooves, right? Meh. And then in your movement phase, it has Trampled Underfoot. This manifestation can move a distance up to its move characteristic. This manifestation can pass through models and the combat ranges of any enemy units, but it cannot end that movement in combat. Cool. Then, pick up to 3 enemy units that this manifestation passed across during that move to be the targets. Roll a d3 for each on a 2-up, inflict a amount of mortal damage to the target equal to the roll. So this thing is not going to be like, it's going to be like running across the army. Like, you're not going to want to send it deep so much, I think, as you're going to want to send it, like, wide. And, like, tag things. Right? I think that's how this thing's going to feel. Because if you get 3, then it's kind of good, right? Like, 3d3 mortal wounds feels like a fair amount of mortal wounds for this edition. Right? Like, from what I've seen so far. Like, Cruel Boys will deal, like, 7. In a single unit. Right? So this is like 3d3. Like, we're kind of getting up into some pretty good numbers here. So... But the average isn't 2 anymore. The average of a d3 isn't 2 anymore. Because it's not 1, 2, and 3, it's 0, 2, and 3. So the average is not 2, it's like 1.67 or something, right? So it kind of loses some of its value. Like every third one, you're going to knock it down a number. So it's your average is going to be 5 damage, roughly, I bet, on 3d3. But still, 5 mortal wounds, right? Like... It's really fast. And then people are just going to kill it, and that's okay. If they kill it, great. That means they didn't kill something else. That's what these things are going to feel like. Right? It's going to be like, well, if I kill this thing that's in my face, then like I'm just wasting my attacks and stuff. Right? And then it's like, oof, but if I don't kill it, it's just going to run over me again. It's like, oof, right? Like, that's not good. This thing's going to be annoying, I think. Especially because we're slow. You know? Like, this thing's going to be annoying for Cruel Boys because, like, we have all these shenanigans, but we're slow, and then throwing mortal wounds on us is annoying. Right? Like, we don't have a ton of good wards, right? Like, we have the odd one here and there. Like, Scragrod has his ward, right? But Gobsprak's got a 6, but we're not really a ward-heavy army. So, these mortal wounds would be, like, annoying for us. We'll just shoot these things off the table, but like I said, it'll be annoying. What we want to do is use our counter magic to make sure these things don't come out on the field. Yeah, Ward 6, Fly, Endless Spells, Manifestations, yeah, whatever. Okay, big guy, Usharan. So, 4-up save, 16 health, which is quite a lot of health. 10-inch move, which is sort of the new, like, I don't know, not interesting at all move characteristic. Like 10, a lot of things feel 10 to me. So when I see 10, it's like, okay, this thing moves as fast as like the rest of the things. It's not fast, but it's like big, you know? But it's not a fast bit anyway. A Scepter, 4 attacks, 3s and 2s, 2 Ren, D3 plus 3. Pretty strong profile. And remember, he's generating this as points. So if he hits you once, he gets a D3 plus 3 noble deed points. So 2 of these things landing is going to be his maximum noble deeds. And I feel like it's likely that he's going to hit you with just the Scepter for 6 damage. Let alone the Monstrous Talons. 8 more dice, 3s and 3s. 1 Ren, 2 damage. No abilities on these at all, right? They're pretty flat, which is interesting. I wonder if the spell lore will have any, like, oh, give this whatever, like crit mortals or whatever, and suddenly you're like throwing this ability on him. We'll see. Battle damage, right? He loses 2 attacks. Oof. Yeah. Carrion King, another passive. While this unit has 6 noble deed points, the effect of the Feeding Frenzy ability applies to friendly Flesh Eater Courts units while they are wholly within 24 inches of this unit instead of 12. So Feeding Frenzy it's +1 attacks, I think, right? That's what Feeding Frenzy is? I don't think it says in here, but that's what it was before. Or no, it does. Yeah, add one of the attack characteristics of melee weapons, including companion weapons. Oh my god. Including companions. Ew. Oh, it's gonna be nasty. Oh, it's gonna be nasty. This is strong, because it says companions. So it means that, like, all the knights and stuff, and all the zombie dragons, right? Like, all those big scary monsters that are also getting +1 dice, which is a good buff to get, right? Like more dice. So this just expands it. And the interesting thing here is that because he generates so many noble deed points so quickly, he can fight first, which is often like a good call, right? Like it's not an unlikely thing, but when he fights first in your turn, he's going to get himself to 6 points right away. And then then he's giving that buff 24 inches instead of 12 away, which is nice. So you can like spend his points and then just like whoop right back up, which is phenomenal. Yeah, it's great. So then in your hero phase, this is a spell cast on a 7 glimpse of delusion. This spell's so good. Pick a visible enemy model within 18 inches of this unit to be the target, not wholly within, just within. Pick another enemy unit within the target's combat range to be the victim. Then make a casting roll of 2d6. So you pick an enemy unit, and then effect. Pick one of the target's melee weapons. So not all of its profiles, but one of its profiles. And you do as the caster. So like, you know, you're the orc player, and I'm Usharon, and I'm casting the spell on your Maw Crusher, and then I pick your Maw Crusher, and then I pick something in combat range with the Maw Crusher. I pick one weapon, and then I fight. Immediately resolve combat attacks made by that weapon against the victim. So I just make you fight yourself. And that is like a super fun spell, right? It's a super fun spell to be like, spread out, Usharon's coming. And he knows the lore too, and the manifestation lore. So he's a wizard too, right? So he can also like dish out some other stuff too. So it's not like this is his only threat, right? He's going to throw something else at you too. Like how many unbinds you got, buddy, right? And he has a 5-up ward too. That's the crazy thing. He's on a 4-up save, which is like whatever. You know, it's not good, it's not bad, it's like fine. 16 health though on a 5-up ward is a lot of health. It's a lot of health. You know, and doesn't he heal? Like, isn't that what this is? Royal Blood. Any number of friendly abhorrence to be the target. Heal D3. Pick any number of friendly abhorrence. So he's an abhorrent. Right? So he just heals D3 too. And so healing on a 5-up board is even more valuable. That's like a higher value use of that ability, right? Like wards and healing that healing's even better. You know? Okay. Shroud Cage Fragment. Once per turn, army, any combat phase. So there was a little bit of clarification about what this once per turn army means. So it's like just once per turn, like once per game. That's it. The end. Just one time this ability goes off once for your entire army. Pick up to 3 enemy units in combat range with this unit to be the target. Roll a die for each target. If the roll exceeds the target's control characteristic, the target has strike last for the rest of the turn. So that's pretty easy. So it basically is going to shut off small things. It's like you don't control this, right? I'm just like, yeah, sure. Madness pulses from the gem in Usharon's crown, overwhelming those who draw too close. Like, it's sick. This is his rampage, right? He's just like, wow, Usharon! Yeah, it's good stuff. And then your hero phase, Epicenter of Delusion. Pick one of the following effects to apply until the start of your next turn. So until you get to pick it again at the beginning in your hero phase, right? And then, before I read these, Epicenter of Delusion. No, I must be thinking of something else. Yeah, I'm thinking of something else. Cool. So the Royal Hunt. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Flesh Eater Courts units that target a monster. That's good. Like, remember, this is a toolbox, right? This is a toolbox. Pick one of the following effects until the beginning of your next turn. Right? Add 1 to run rolls and charge rolls for friendly Flesh Eater Courts units. Defender of the Realms. Add 1 to save rolls for friendly Flesh Eater Courts units while they're contesting an objective that you control. So either like if you just took it, so from a slap back, right? Like you took theirs and now it's like whatever you control it in your +1 to save, which is a strong ability, right? Because it's kind of like, it's all out defense. You know what I mean? So you don't have to spend that CP. If you need something to be alive, you can be like, okay, like it's going to get all out defense. Or maybe you can all out defense and it gets +1 to save. So now you're ignoring rend, because that's still a thing, right? So like that's pretty good, right? With rend being like reduced, like with there being less rend overall, taking a rend away feels even stronger. You know, like it feels even better. I think it's going to. Okay, and finally, the Grand Tournament. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by other friendly Flesh Eater Court's heroes if they charged in the same turn. Cool. So I can't remember the what the range of this is. Is it just table wide? It's just everything? That's what it is, right? That's crazy. I could be wrong though. But it just says to do it. It's just pick it. So that seems good. So you can do like run and charge early on. Right? You could like, oh, they're playing Thunder Lizards, cool, so I'm just gonna smash this monster one. Situational, like, oh, like I just took a thing, like we were saying about like the +1 to save one. And then this hero one looks like it would be good for like zombie dragons. This would not affect companions. We're pretty certain this would not. There's like some confusion about companions and what affects it and what doesn't or whatever, but this is certainly something. So, like, what do we have in our toolbox that kills him? Like, brutes just deal a ton of damage, right? Like, brutes could probably chew through this guy, right? Like, oh, yeah. Brutes could chew through this dude. A cool thing about the pigs, too. A cool thing about Charge Through and about the Gorgrunta's Monstrous Rampage is that you can sort of, like, pin things down for a little bit and then run away and then something else can engage it. So brutes are slow, cool. So we're just gonna Mighty Destroyers them every time, right? And just move them in forward, forward, forward. If that's the best we got, we're just gonna push them up the middle while these pigs sort of like run around and like tag things and then like kind of bounce away and like smash a screen and then like get away before the... Right? Because with Power Through, you can like charge into things and then like just yeet yourself out the other side. It's like they're not like super fast, but they're faster than any infantry, right? So you can just like tag things and like deal some damage and get out, right? So we'll see. So hold him down maybe a little bit and like throw brutes at him and try to like control his movement so we can't like run away from the brutes. You know what I mean? Shoot him. He has a lot of wards, he does heal, but if you have really good shooting, you could probably pop him down quite a bit. Oof. I mean, he's just nasty. Like, your stuff fighting itself is just gross. Like, it's just gross. It's just rude. Yeah, like, keep your good stuff away from him, right? It's just brutes. Brutes got to be out there on their own, just marching up the battlefield. Killbows, yeah, killbows would do it. Killbows might just be really good. Everyone's saying that, or I've heard this a few times. Maybe it's the Honest Wargamer, but he's been talking about how, like, it's the centerpiece edition, right? So it's like, well, that's the Killbow edition, for sure. See, that's like some sneaky tech right there. I feel like Killbows actually work really well with the sneak. And they might work really well with venom-encrusted weapons too. We'll see what they are. Probably not though, right? They don't throw a lot of dice. But maybe can you like reinforce a Killbow? I guess we don't know. What else do you do with this guy? Gits have a hard time dealing with him, I think, way more than orcs do. Because, like, you can punch this thing with a Maw Crusher and, like, it'll die. Right? This guy's a monster and a wizard. Gordrak eats him. Oh my god. Let's look at that. Faction. Focus. Iron Gods. But Gordrak just slaps him, doesn't he? You probably call the Wah. So add one to the attack characteristic. You'll probably do that this turn. This is also added the attack characteristic. But we won't take a bunch of buffs. So this roar is like whatever, it's nothing. It's this one, Smash and Cunning. So +1 Ren. So 8 dice, right? 3s to hit, 2s to wound, 2 Ren. So this is, he's on a 6-up save, right? Usharon's on a 6-up save here. By default, right? He needs more stuff, which is a really bad save with 2 Ren. And they're 2 damage each. So, and then if you give him a couple extra dice, it's like whatever, you know, from some ability, either like a big charge or like something, you know, like a Wah, or maybe he's got, if you call the Wah, he also gets +1 to hit, right? Because he's a friendly, so he's going to get all-out attack. So he's going to be on 2s and 2s, 2 Ren, 2 damage. Ooh, that's a nasty profile. 2-2-2-2 is a good profile. That's like, you're getting damage through that. It's going to like work, you know? It's going to actually... So the maximum, I guess, is 16. So it's probably not enough for him to kill Usharon by himself. He also monster grapples you on a 3-up, right? Oh, it has to be a companion weapon, so this doesn't work against Usharon. Yeah, like, this thing will definitely take him, like, do a lot of damage. Might be inconsistent to one-shot him. Oh, Gordrak's so gross. Oh, jeez. The 3-up save is just everything. Like, he's just a nasty... Oh yeah, and this thing gets +1 Ren too, right? Right, because he's a monster, so this is also +1 Ren. So it's like, and then 8 attacks, 3s and 2s. Oh, never mind. At 8 attacks, 3s and 2s with 2 Rend and 3 damage, like, Usharon is just going to get eaten by this guy. Like, how much damage is that actually? Like, let's just look at that for a minute. I want to know how likely Gordrak is to kill Usharon. So, 1 model, yeah, 8 attacks. What did I say? So, we're going to say that it's a Wah turn. Because, like, that's reasonable. Like, Gordrak is fighting Usharon. That's a reasonable Wah turn. So, it gives us charge, right? And attacks, right? Yeah. So, we'll say that's the only buff. So, it's 9 attacks. And then it's Usharon, so it's going to be 2 Rend. And then another one. So 9 attacks, because it's Wah. And then I think it's 4s and 3s. 2 Rend, 3 damage. 4s and 2s. 4s and 2s. 2 Rend, 3 damage. Oh no, he gets his all-out attack. Right, it's +1 and it because we're calling the Wah. So it's not, it's 2s and 2s, right? I just said that out loud, didn't I? And this is 3s and 2s. So Usharon's on a 4-up save here, right? So it's going to be 22 damage. So the 5-up board is probably enough to save him there, I think. It's kind of close now. You can shoot him too, right? I guess that this matters. I'll throw that in there too. Well, yeah, but then, like, we can throw... Right, so it's sort of like if you throw any other buffs on him. Right? But, like, just sort of like bare bones, right? It'll be close, but if... And that's kind of what I ultimately want to know. You know? Like, what the bare bones thing in. Because if I buff up a Maw Crusher, like, through the... If I just have a couple buffs on him, like, all-out attack... Well, I guess I can't already get it, right? But... I want to know what his sort of minimum is. Because if I buff him, it's over. Whatever I'm killing, it's over. If he's got like a kill bead on him and something else too, right? Like, and another buff. He gives himself all out attack. He's getting... Right? It's like... Suddenly, it's like, yeah, he'll kill anything. He'll kill it over again. Easy game. Cool, moving on. Fly, right? War Master, which means he has to be the general. War Master's a bad word now. It means, like, oh, if you have this guy, he has to be the general. If you have multiple War Masters, you have to pick one. But I'm not sure if they'll... no, because there's no... Yeah, I guess it's fine, because there's no command trait as far as I know. It's like a heroic trait now. So you just give it to any hero that you want. Like, it doesn't have to be the general. So it's like... It's bad that you don't get to pick your general, but at the same time, it sort of doesn't matter all that much. I think they're trying to limit how many like regiments you can have that you can sort of bring lots of different things. Because Ushiran would bring something cool, right? You know, like he's gonna bring with him lots of options of what you can bring, I'm sure. But he kind of needs to do that anyway, no matter what. Like, it'd be lame if he couldn't. So they're kind of restricting the bonus. Yeah. Cool. Oh, and a War Chanter. That's not FEC. What the FEC? Marrow Scroll Herald. So this is one of the courtiers, so he brings back models to units instead of bringing back the whole unit when it's slain. So on a 5-up save, 5 health, so he's quite puny and weak and slow. Right? He really is. 5 health is low, 5-up save is bad, 6-up move is slow. 5 attacks, 4s and 3s, 1 ran 2 damage, so a little bit of an attack. Right? Like a little bit of something. 4s and 3s ain't great, right? But like kind of, you know, the 2 damage is nice. Cool. Once per turn, army, any charge phase. So this is on your phase and in your opponent's charge phase as well. Which is weird, because you can charge them, right? So it's like, you could do this and charge them. Pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target. Right, so you have to be in combat with this little squishy nerd. Effect, roll a die. On a 3-up, pick one of the following effects. 1. Friendly Flesh Eater Courts units in combat with the target have strike first for the rest of the turn. Oh my god. Oh, so okay, so this thing charges in. Okay. And then on a 3-up, it's like everything that's fighting you has strike first. Everything that I want, everything in mind that's fighting you. So if he's the 3rd unit in, right? So the idea is that he's going to charge in. You're going to get lucky on a 3-up, right? And then the thing that he charged into is dead. Is the idea. When this thing's working to its finest. It's just going to die. So after that, it's like... That's so strong. It's such a strong thing. It's good. So, but if you... Yeah. Okay, second one. The target has the infected keyword for the rest of the battle. Each time your opponent declares a command's spell ability or prayer ability for an infected unit, roll a die. On a 5-up, if they declared a command, that command has no effect. The command still counts as having been used, and the command point spent to use the command are still lost. If they declared a spell or a prayer ability, that spell or prayer fails. So, it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. I don't know, I feel like these guys are going to kind of go with units, and they're going to try to resurrect models from like a particular unit, and then this guy's just going to go in with his unit. Right? He has a little bit of damage, right? And then he has a passive, don't shoot the messenger. While this unit is not in combat and is wholly within the combat range of 3 or more other friendly Flesh Eater Court infantry models, it is not visible to enemy units. So it still has that invisible thing where it just sits really close to a unit now, and then it's invisible. So that's cool. So you can't like pick them off, although they also have like unleash, look out sir and all that, right? So, but it's not visible, so it can't be seen. It can't be, can't pick it as a target for stuff, right? It's more than just shooting. But like giving everything strike last can be super strong, right? I know it's a 3-up, but it can be super strong. You can just like move stuff around the board and like charge things in, and it's like, right. So we're just gonna kill you, and you're not gonna get any value out of your stuff. And that's how you kind of win games sometimes on the board, is like, oh, right, you still have that full unit of stuff over there that's coming to get me now. It's like, yeah, because I didn't lose a model, so rum, vrum, vrum, here we go. And I, recovered a couple models from some chip damage. Because, you're a courtier or whatever. Like, seems good. Crypt guards, these are the, like, more defensive. They're not ghouls, they're like the more of an anvil than ghouls. 6-up save, haha, nice anvil. 1 health. Cursed weapon, 3 attacks, force and force, 1 rend, 1 damage, so not very good damage. Like, gut rippers are better than this, right? Quite bad, but they're really here for this. Reaction, you declared a fight ability for this unit. If any damage points inflicted by attacks made as part of that fight ability are allocated to any enemy units, those enemy units cannot use commands until the start of your next turn. So what you can do is you can have a reinforced unit of this, or even just a regular unit of this, and split the attacks across multiple units, right? And it's because it says any enemy units, so this thing can fight into 2 units, and then neither can use commands, right? So there's some play there with that, which is kind of cool. I like that. So you have to be careful of that, right? This is a bad unit to like strike from multiple locations with multiple units, right? Because it's like, oh god, like they're just gonna get both of you. They're not gonna deal any damage, right? But that's not what they're there for because of this ability. Royal Bodyguard. While any friendly Flesh Eater Court heroes are wholly within this unit's combat range, both this unit and those heroes have ward 5 up. So that's what they're here for. I don't know what heroes will be best used with this, but it's like a 5-up ward for this unit. And don't forget too, right? Like these things die, but like if the Flesh Eater Court's hero that has this 5-up is a courtier, it'll just bring back it'll just bring back models. Like I always thought that they never I always liked this model, and I wanted to like its war scroll. It's this it's like, I can't remember what it's called, Vargholf or something like that, right? The like crawling beast guy who's on like a little bit of a bigger base. He's like a melee courtier. He's one of the only like kind of decently fighty. I think he had like some disengage ability or something. I can't remember what he had, but he was kind of mobile, but he just didn't he was too expensive, I think. It didn't make the cut, but something like this with this Crypt Guard would be sick. It's because it's like the courtier wants to fight, right? It's like, I want to fight, and I'm killy. And then the Crypt Guard's like, hey, well, here's a 5-up ward. And the guy's like, cool. And then the monster like goes in there and kills a bunch of things and gets like, does 6 damage and gets 6 points. Right, and then turns around to the Crypt Guard who just lost 6 guys, and it's like boom, like there you go, like there's 6 more dudes, because they're only 1, right? They're gonna be this lower one, right? Serfs, so they just cost 1, and as long as there's 1 alive, or whatever it is, yeah. So as long as there's 1 alive, it has a 5-up ward. So it's like the hero has a 5-up ward, and then this little it's like a life meter for the 5-up ward, but that life meter is also standing on objectives. Like it's perfect synergy. I kill things, I bring back this screen, rinse and repeat. You hit my screen, I hit you, rinse and repeat. Like it's beautiful, like it's beautiful game design. I hope that it's still there. This thing's gonna be so annoying to deal with as destruction. Crypt Guard's gonna be annoying, I think, because you'll see it reinforced. I don't know if it's 5. No, they come in units of 10, so it's 20. So it's 20 wounds, right? Just think about it this way. It's 20 wounds on a 5-up save. That's there. and it can turn off your commands. It's not really going to deal any damage, although if you have 20 of them, that is like 60 dice. If you threw something like Crit Mortals on there, suddenly they could deal lots of damage, right? So we'll see what other kind of options there are, but it feels like they're probably not going to do that. They might give it something, but anyway, going to be really nasty to deal with. Don't be fooled. You can't go through the Crypt Guard. You have to get at the hero, right? Like, don't be fooled by Flesh Eater Quartz. You just kill their heroes. Don't worry about anything else than killing their heroes. Once their heroes are dead, you can manage the rest of the game. All the buffs turn off, right? And then all the respawning turns off. But you just can't. You have to just, like, kill Usharon. Right? You gotta kill him. Gotta kill. At least these things don't work super well with, yeah, whatever. Royal Zombie Dragon. 4-up save, so kind of blast save. 14 health, kind of like okay health. 12-inch flying move, so that's good. 5 control is pretty standard. Pestilent Breath, 10 attacks. Oh no, sorry, 10-inch range. D6 attacks, which is bad. 2s to hit, force to wound, 1 rend, 3 damage. It can shoot in combat and companion, so this thing's going to be really swingy. Right, it's going to be really swingy. Sometimes you'll get a lot, like 5 dice, right? But when you only have like 1 or 2, even sort of 3 dice, this thing kind of falls off. It only has 1 rend, right? So it's kind of like whatever. It'll spike sometimes. You'll get like 6 attacks and you'll like hit all your thing. Like you'll have your opponent sitting there looking at like 5 saves to make, right? Even with 1 rend, right? Like 5 saves is with 5 damage each. Like that's a lot of potential damage. This thing will spike sometimes, which like is annoying, I find. Unless it's good without it. Like if this model's good without that line entirely, then it's like, alright, so whatever. It'll just come in sometimes. Cool. So Draconic Maw, 3 attacks, force and 2s, 2 rend, 3 damage. It's companion, right? So it's not going to be super buffable. And then Draconic Claws, 7 attacks, 4s and 2s, 1 rend, 3 damage. From the way I understand it now, but companions need an FAQ, I think, for sure. There's too much vagueness, I feel. Like, what do you guys think about companions? Like, from what I understand right now, command points do not affect companions. Companion weapons, right? I'm just gonna say companions. Because using a command ability is an ability that you use on yourself. That's what it is. Like, the unit uses the ability, it uses the ability on, and it picks itself as a target. And so it's a friendly unit to itself. Right? It sees itself as a friendly unit. So it can't use that ability. So those are off. So no all-out attack here for those 4-ups. Yep, I don't know. But I still need, like, clarification on stuff here, I think. Just like a slight battle damage, right? His Draconic Claws go from 7 to 5. Deployment phase. This is kind of cool. Declare, pick this unit if it has not been deployed. Okay, set this unit up in reserve, high above the battlefield. It has now been deployed, so you can deploy it in reserve. And then in your movement phase, so it's only in your movement phase, pick this unit if it is high above in the battlefield, or high above the battlefield. So you pick your null deployed unit. Effect: set up this unit anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from all enemy units. So it's just like a deep strike anywhere. So it can deep strike. Cool. It's a lot of words to say deep strike. I get what they're doing, but okay. And then their rampage, right? Once per turn across the army. So this is once per turn across the army. Any combat phase. If this unit charged this turn, so this is if it charged or if it counter-charged, roll a die. On a 3-up, this unit can move 2d6, which is a bad movement speed. It can pass through the combat ranges of enemy units, but must end the move in combat, so it can't retreat. So it gets to move 2d6, but not retreat. On a 3-up, then pick an enemy unit that this unit passed across during that move. Pick 1 that this passed across during that move. Inflict D3 mortal damage on that enemy unit. So it's the 2d6 that's bad, though. Like, it's going to average to 7, but it's like, I don't know. Sometimes you're going to just roll low, and it's going to do nothing, and you have to beat a 3-up. Like, this is one of those cases that we complained about with Dirty Tricks, where it's a die roll through a die roll. You know? It's like, yeah, I got the 3-up feud, Snake Eyes. oof. Right? Like, alright, that doesn't seem very good to me. So whatever. These guys, I don't know. They feel kind of like you're stuck on 4s, I think, for the most part. Right? So it's like 10 attacks on 4s, you're hitting 5 of them. Right? You'll probably get 4 through with the wounds. Right? Like either 5 or 4. The rend is okay, the damage is good, but you're not getting a lot of dice at this point. You know? It's like, oh great, my opponent made their 3 saves, right? Like, oof. Feels bad. It does deep strike though, so that's sick. We'll see if it gets any bonuses to charge or anything. I kind of just wanted to compare really quickly. Carve a path in comparison to this. Oops. Zombie dragon one. So if it isn't combat, it can move a distance up to its move characteristics. So it just gets to move 10 every time. It can pass through enemy models and the combat ranges of enemy units, but it cannot end that move in combat. So this thing is, it has to retreat. Right? It cannot end that move in combat. This thing. Okay, and then this one is on a 3-up. This one has no roll. You can move 2d6 instead of 10. Then pick an enemy unit, pass across, and deal d3. And then, so this thing does a d3, right? It already passed its 3-up, it just does a d3. So then, pick each enemy unit that this unit passed across during that move to be the target. So every single one. Roll a d3 for each target. On a 2-up, inflict, so it's a 2-up d3 for each one. Then this unit gains 2 momentum. So and then it builds into its whatever. So a d3 for each, right? And this is 1 d3. So it's just strictly better. And then obviously the momentum is good. This is the rampage of the Mogrunta. So it's just so much better. 3-up save 12 wounds, 4-up save 14 wounds. It's faster than we are. Right? It can deep strike, and it's faster. But then it's like we're so much better. This thing has to end in combat. This thing's going to be strong to use on our opponent's turn. No, it's your movement phase. Never mind. Never mind. And then it can charge. Because it didn't retreat. Right? It's your turn. So you move, and then now we're going to charge again. And our momentum is going way back up. Like, it's going to be like this thing is going to, like, punch you. And then every time it's your turn, what it's going to feel like for your opponent is that it's going to back up and then punch you again. That's how it's going to feel. Yeah, and then power through on top of it, right? Yeah, like it's going to be kind of silly. Like, using the counter charge command ability, I feel is not going to see as much play as you think. I think it'll be super situational when your opponent's made a mistake and they've left like an obvious or like an objective open that you can get into and deny. Like, unless you can really deny your opponent something like important, I don't think that you're going to really cast or use it super often. It's too expensive. There's 15 options for your command points, and like to spend 2 of them on the only thing that costs 2. As far as I know, it's the only thing that costs 2, right? It's probably a good move by them. It would be too strong, I think. Otherwise, if it was on par with the rest. But at 2, it just takes up so much of your resource. So this thing kind of sucks, to be honest. It has that fly keyword, so it's faster. It has a ward. So maybe it's like a little bit more survivable than us, but just the mobility once you're in the scrum is so much better here. This is any combat phase, I guess, too. So the 3-up kind of, I guess that's a big difference. So this thing does it twice while we do this once. So much more synergy here for us, though. I don't know, this thing's okay, we'll see. It's all about points, right? If you can fit 2 of these in a list. That might feel very different. Instead of just one. Monster fight! And that's it, eh? Oh, this is all... Is this all the spearhead stuff? Yeah. Like this guy. Yeah, this guy's sick. This is a great box, by the way. This is an amazing FEC spearhead box. Oh my god, I want to play this. Oh, this would be such a good FEC. Oh, this would be such a good spearhead box to play. These are the guards, I think, right? Or are these just ghouls? I don't know. Either way, whatever. You just finishers? That's great. This is the courtier, the fighty guy. I hope he's amazing. He looks so great. The abhorrent or whatever was like a keystone, and then these guys were also just amazing and like so strong. But more than that, just like flavorful and like cool models. Like they look like so cool. Like this guy's art I really liked. I used this guy for my FAQ video or whatever. I really like his... I think he does a really good job of capturing kind of what they're all about. Right? It's like just a crazy like bat. Like it's amazing. Yeah, it's cool. I just love, like, of all the death armies, I think I'd play FEC. Of all the death armies, I would definitely play FEC. Oh yeah. Let's have a look here. Yeah, exactly, right? Like they're just so like these bats are so cool looking. Yeah, good job. Yeah, all the mask stuff's great too. Yep. It's like that dry, shrubby grass. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fantastic. Yep, good stuff. What time is it? Been going, that took me an hour. I gotta be faster. I gotta be faster. maybe I can't. I just can't be faster. Can't do it. Okay, well I can do one more. I can do one more. Okay. These guys were good. So they have a passive Ethereal. Ignore all modifiers to save rolls, both positive and negative, for friendly Nighthaunt units, excluding Nagash. So they ignore all rend, and you can't debuff their save. Their save rolls are just going to be their save rolls. Right? For all of them, except for Nagash, which is good, probably. I think that'll just help balance Nagash. So if we just look at some saves, right? 4-up save, 4-up save, 4-up save. So not amazing saves at 4-ups, right? But like, you can't rend them. So it's gonna be a 4-up. So you can just, as a Nighthaunt player, you can just think to yourself like, well, whatever the saves you're asking me to make, right? Like, I'm just gonna make half of them all the time. Whatever you give me, I'm just gonna cut in half. Right? And that's like not bad of a way of thinking about it. It's like, it doesn't matter what you give me, I make half of all my saves all the time. Minimum. No, not minimum, but on average. And then if with all the defense, you know, suddenly it's like, well, oh no, both positive and negative. So you can't even do that, right? So it's kind of nice. There is no, now you only have 13 possible options to spend your command points on, right? That's actually kind of a good thing, isn't it? And then they also have this reaction for a command point. Right? Opponent declared an attack ability. So they declare. So there's no effect yet. So you haven't fought yet. Used by a friendly Nighthaunt unit targeted by that attack ability. The unit has a 5-up ward for the rest of the phase. So you can like get a 5-up ward for a CP in reaction. So it's better all-out defense. Jeez. Okay, so... like, the thing with Flesh Eater Courts, like the way that you beat Flesh Eater Courts is that you kill the heroes. But when you want to kill the rest of the units, what you do is you just burst them down. They don't have very good saves, right? They have, like, they might have some decent wounds, but they have some wards here and there. But what you do is you just sort of burst them down. And they sort of die. But you can't do that to Nighthaunt. You can't rend them, right? And they're just gonna like save stuff. They're gonna make a bunch of their saves, right? Fairly consistently, and then they have like this 5-up ward and stuff. So if they really don't want stuff to die, it's like, well, like I'm gonna make half the saves, and then a third of what's left in damage I'm not gonna take. That's how it's gonna feel. It's not gonna feel good. Once per turn army, right, so now they have these Aura of Dread abilities. Right, there's 3 of them here. Once per turn army, your charge phase. So 5 times a battle round, or 5 times a game. Wave of Terror. Friendly Nighthaunt units that are in combat can use charge abilities this phase. However, if a unit that is in combat uses a charge ability, and the charge roll is 3 or less, the unit does not count as having charged this turn. So, your charge phase, they can charge out of combat, or they can charge they can be in combat with you, and then they can charge. But they can fail on a 3 or less. So you need it's a 4-up charge. And then it doesn't get one of these 3 Aura of Dread abilities. So they get these 3 Aura of Dread abilities on the charge, and then they also get them if they on a 4-up or whatever, if they're in combat too. So it's not bad. Okay, cool. Stun. Declare a friendly Nighthaunt war machine or cavalry unit that has not used an Aura of Dread ability this turn, and that charged this turn to use this ability. Then pick an enemy unit within 1 inch of it to be the target. So pick an enemy unit within 1 of it, right? Subtract 1 from save rolls for that target for the rest of the turn. Cool. Charge you -1 to save. Cool. This is the same thing, right? But this has an additional clause. The number of models in that friendly Nighthaunt unit must be greater than the number of models in the target unit. So you're gonna. This is more like an infantry style thing, right? So, or even like an elite unit of 3 against a big monster, right? Subtract 1 from hit rolls for that target's attacks for the rest of the turn. And here's another one. Petrify. Pick a friendly Nighthaunt hero that has not used an aura, blah, blah, blah. Then pick an enemy unit within one inch of it to be the target. The target has strike last for the rest of the turn. Strike last is good. I didn't see a lot of strike first stuff in Iron Jaws or Cruel Boys, right? So I think that might be one of our weaknesses, that if we get struck last, it's going to hurt. Or if we have strike first effects against us, those are also going to hurt. Like Daughters of Cain is just going to kill our stuff before we can fight back. You know? They're like, oh, I just strike first and like eat you. It's like, right. Because like it doesn't matter how hard I hit if I don't get to hit, right? Cool. Gotta be careful. So overall, pretty strong, right? It's like you charge stuff and they get -1 to save, or -1 hit rolls, or strike last. And when you do charge, there's no roll. You just pick one. Right? And then it's only if you're in combat that you need a 4-up to like do it again. So lots of movement shenanigans, right? Lots of movement shenanigans. Okay, they have a battle formation. I mean, it's pretty good to me, I think, right? Like, it feels good. Like, these effects are good. Strike last is really good. -1 to save is really good. And -1 from hit rolls is really good. Especially because it's going to be sometimes against, like, chaff. So it's like, oh, they have 4, they're on 4s to hit. Like, oh, being on 5s to hit. It's like, cool. Right? Like, that's gross. Like, that sucks. Or being on 5s to hit, going to 6s. That sucks. So here's one of their, nope, I missed something. Their sub-factions, their battle formations. Friendly Nighthaunt units that use charge abilities, even if they used run or retreat abilities in the same turn. In addition, no mortal damage is inflicted on friendly Nighthaunt units by ability. So this is this is retreat and charge and run and charge army wide. That's what this is. Retreat and charge and run and charge, army-wide. There is no escape. I pick this every time. I pick this every time. I don't need to see the other ones. Forget this like roll the die and charge thing. Doesn't matter anymore. However, they must do that. Nope, they just get to retreat and charge all the time. Yep. Remove that clause. You're just going to do one of these every turn, or all of these every turn. Consistently, without needing any kind of mess. It's like right away in my head, I go to like this list building place where I'm like, okay, so what 3 things are charging? Right? What 3 things are going to be, so they have to be fast, right? I want them, they don't have to deal a ton of damage, but they have to be somewhat survivable, right? Like, and maybe like something where you can't kill them all at once, so I get a chance to recur them, because I know that's going to be part of the army. So what do you do against that if you're orcs? Like, how do you punish that? You shoot it, right? So it's like, okay, you know, Bold Boys can do a thing. Cruel Boys are kind of bursty. Orcs are kind of bursty too, but Ironjaws rely more on rend. They're going to have some ward saves, right? But not as many as they'd like. Yeah, mortal wounds, so I think Cruel Boys probably do better here. I mean, I really want to see Bold Boys. I don't know what Cruel Boys are like until I see Bold Boys. Like, are they still going to be kind of scary? Is the question. Are they still going to be... Well, that's always... Yeah, but that's the question. Counter shooting in an army is only as good as what's shooting. Right? Of course. So, like, is it good? I mean, that's going to be a huge question. They do get -1, but if they have venom encrusted weapons and they have like, you know, crit auto wound and it's on 5s and 6s, it's like, well, suddenly it's kind of actually good, right? Like auto wound is fine. Like I'll take that. If they have 1 rend, let's say, like auto wound 1 rend, like you're skipping a whole section. I just really hope they have hasty shot. I really hope they have hasty shot. But I just love this army, to be honest. Like, I don't think... I prefer FEC as a player. Like, if I was going to play a death faction, it would be FEC. But, this army's awesome. They just sort of move through the battlefield, constantly charging and retreating. Right? And then you just get these, like, horse cavalry guys. Like, do they have a war scroll? They have this lady guy. What is this? 467 health. I don't think that's... These guys, maybe. Yeah, 12 move. So you put it on these guys. 4 up safe, 3 health. I don't know how many there are in a unit. Probably 5. What? Any movement phase? Remove this unit from the battlefield and set it up again on the battlefield more than 9 inches from all enemy units. What? Any movement phase. What? You just pick this thing up and move it? Are you kidding? So you have like run and charge, retreat and charge, and then these things where you just pick them up and move them. Just out of combat too. If it does get stuck somehow. Well, gut rippers were actually looking pretty good, my friend. Gut rippers are looking real good. Forget this profile, right? At full strength, it's 7 mortal wounds. That's what this is. With just a unit of 10. This is just 7 mortal wounds. And 7 mortal wounds is a lot, I feel. The musician is their rally, so they actually have good rally now. Right? They get an extra die when they rally. And they're 1 more control, so that's kind of like whatever. And then they're this sometimes. Like 4s and 3s, 0 rend, right? But that we don't care because we don't care about that because it's just 7 mortal wounds. Right? It's just 7 mortal wounds. That's it. How much damage do these things do? Crit auto wound. That's good. Crit auto wound companion. Okay, well, 7 dice, 4s and 5s with crit auto wound. So you're kind of relying on the auto wound pretty much. And then 3s to wound. So, you know, and then like no rend. But 1 rend on the 2 damage. It's okay, I guess. The 3 health to me is the thing I really like. And it's always a 4-up, right? 12-inch move is really fast, too. This teleport's insane. They're so mobile. If this unit charged this turn, add 3 to the control score friendly Nighthaunt units while they're only within 12. This unit. Are you kidding? Oh, like... Are you kidding? This is a joke, right? So they get retreat and charge and run and charge and this teleport. And then when they charge, which is every turn, right? Add 3 to the control score of friendly Nighthaunt unit. So even if it's just them, right? It's like they become 8 as a unit, probably a 5, right? So that's like a decent effect, you know? That's a decent effect. They're not gonna like be the thing that's really taking an objective, like, but they're definitely gonna help. Maybe they'll have trouble. Maybe they won't have a thing that really is control-y in their army. This thing's 2. I don't know. We'll see. If these guys are only 1, I can't imagine that like the foot versions of these things are 2. Right? We'll see. But sick though. So much mobility. So much mobility. Yeah. Yeah. Lore of the Underworlds. Shade Mist. On a 6. Pick a friendly Nighthaunt wizard. Ugh. Wholly within 12 inches. So pick a friendly Nighthaunt unit wholly within 12 inches. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks that target that unit until the start of the next turn. And this is unlimited. So they're already kind of hard to kill. So now you're just subtract 1 from wound rolls. I hope you have good wound rolls. That's a really good debuff, actually. It's not as good as -1. -1 attacks is the best. Right? -1 to hit is probably better than -1 to wound, right? Just because it comes earlier in the sequence. But still, unlimited. Cast on a 6, not bad. Not a bad spell. It's a toolbox, right? Every spell's a toolbox. No. Wholly within 12. Yeah, so the thing that the hero, you know... Lady Olinder. 8-inch move, which is pretty mid. Any monster will like catch up to her pretty easily. 4-up save, 7 health, 2 control. So this is just like some foot hero, essentially, right? Horrifying Visage, 12-inch range, ranged attack, 1 attack, 2s and 2s, 3 rend d6 damage with crit auto wound. Yucky. I don't like these. 1 attack, it feels so gross. The Killbow taught us this. It doesn't matter that it's 3 rend and 2s and 2s. It's just like you're just gonna miss. You're gonna miss. It's only 1 attack and then whatever d6 damage. So even when you do get it, it's like 1 damage. Ooh, there's 4 fail points here. Gross. No, 3 big fail. Yeah, just roll ones, dude. Roll a die 3 times. Don't roll a 1. Right? That's what you're doing. Hit, wound, damage. Roll it 3 times. Don't roll 1, 1. If you roll a 1 one time, you lose. That's what this profile is. Anyway, it doesn't have an attack, ranged attack, because it's just... I hate these things. And now I'm all worked up from the Killbow, right? Gross. It'll crit sometimes. Didn't I just say that or something else earlier? Was that in FEC? Yeah. Melee weapons. Staff of Midnight. 4 attacks, 4s and 3s, 1 rend, d3 damage, crit, auto wound. This is a little bit better. Still not... that crit auto wound is on everything, by the way. But crit auto wound on 10 dice, right? You're going to get it on like a couple if you're lucky. Yeah, and your wound aren't great. It's 3s and 4s. So you're really just fishing for 6s, right? That's what you want, because a lot of your non-6s hits are going to just go away. And then 1 rend and 0 rend. So, not and then D3 damage. So, I don't know. Not slappy, obviously. Let's see what it does. No rest for the wicked. Once per battle in your hero phase. Pick any number of friendly Nighthaunt units on the battlefield to be the targets. For each target, you can return a number of slain models to that unit with a combined health characteristic of up to 3 plus D... from 3... Jesus, plus D3. Wow. Any number of Nighthaunt units anywhere on the battlefield. Combined D3 plus 3. So 1 wound dudes, you're going to get 3 plus D3 back. So 4 to 6 units. Times 2. And then the cavalry, it's like 1 plus maybe another 1, if you're lucky. So do that twice and maybe get 1 more 3, maybe get 3 models back. Like, isn't the unit that we sort of checked out? These guys, yeah, they're 3 wounds, right? 3 health. Health, not wounds. These things are 2 wounds. Or 2 health, I just Thanks. So that's cool. Once per battle, your hero phase. So if you had multiple, can they do it in multiple battle rounds? Because it's this hero can only do it once, right? But like you could have another one that did it the next turn. Am I understanding that correctly? Because didn't we check that out? It's not once per battle army. It's just once per battle for this unit. Anyway. Motarch of Grief. Subtract 3 from the control scores of enemy units while they are within 12 inches of this unit. Okay, that's pretty cool. And Grief Stricken. That's a spell in, so it's your hero phase. On a 6, pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of this unit to be the target, then make a casting roll of 2d6. Ignore positive modifiers to hit rolls, wound rolls, and save rolls for the target for the rest of the turn. That's gross. 18-inch range is a lot. This is a gross spell. 4 up ward, fly, with 2 wizard, and a war master. So I don't care about any of these attacks, really. It's a 2 wizard with this good spell, and it's just going to take objectives from you and just recovers things on the battlefield. That's sick. I really like that. I'm gonna have to make a part 2. I gotta go take care of a couple things, but I don't know. This army looks now. I only have 2 more. No, I can finish. I can do that. I can do that. All right. Raycanor the Grim Hailer. 4 up save, 7 wounds, 12-inch move. So like really fast. This army. Is this just a hero? Wizard 1 cavalry, 6 up ward. Fly, hero, yeah, okay. 4 up save, 7 health, kind of squishy, but remember it's always a 4 up save. So this has charge plus 1 damage, crit auto wound, so crit auto wound on both the attacks again, and it has a companion with it. And then on its main attack, Fell Reaper, 5's attacks, 3's and 3's, 2 rend, 2 damage. That's a better profile. That's a little bit more damage with charge plus 1 damage and crit auto wound. This thing will actually kind of hit you. Okay, and then the Ghostly Hooves and Teeth, so 3 attacks, 5's and 3's, so it's just kind of bad. Crit auto wound, so a little bit extra damage, but you know, this thing will deal like 4-ish damage to you, right? Like it'll hit you with a couple of them. Any hero phase, Corpse Candles. Pick either this unit or a visible enemy unit within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. Effect, allocate 1 damage point to the target. If you picked an enemy unit, add 1 to the casting rolls for this unit for the rest of the turn. If you picked this unit for the rest of the turn, add 1 to the casting rolls for this unit, and add 1 to its power level. So it becomes a wizard 2. So this thing will be good based on... This thing's cool. I like this ability, that's cool. It's a strong effect, casting roll, and power level. Both, right? Like it's good. Pick either this unit or visible enemy unit. So you 1 point of damage. Right? To yourself or to them. You have a 6 up ward too, right? That's cool. Your hero phase. This is a spell, so maybe you get this spell where you know, like with this ability, more synergy. So when it's a 7 spell, declare Pick a visible enemy unit within 12 inches of this unit to be a target, then make a casting roll of 2d6. Effect, inflict d3 mortal damage on the target. If any models are slain by this ability, inflict an additional d3 mortal damage on the target. That's not bad. 2d3 isn't bad. It's not bad. It's not great, though. It's kind of niche in kind of certain situations. D3 mortal damage on its own might just be good. Isn't this just Arcane Bolt at its worst? That might be the worst thing ever. And then they have a passive, Grim Justice. Add 1 to hit rolls and wound rolls for attacks made with this unit's Fel Reaper if the target is a priest or a wizard. Ooh. And the Fel Reaper's actually good. And so 2s and 3s. And wound rolls. 2s and 2s if it hits a priest or a wizard. Ooh. That's good. And this thing helps getting rid of screens, because it'll be really good against 1 wound models, right? So it's like boom, like, you know, like 4 damage to a screen, and then in I come, right? That's cool. It's in your hero phase. You still get to move, right, and then charge, so you can like make a hole for yourself. Get in there. We already reviewed this guy. And then the last thing, this looks like some infantry. Yeah, infantry flied ward 6 up. 4 up save, 2 health, 8-inch move, so kind of fast for foot soldiers. They're twice as fast as brutes, right? Chill Dagger, 2 attacks, 4s and 3s, 2 rend, and D3 damage. 2 rend. They can fly. 2. No. Oh. 2 damage. 4s and 3s, 2 rend, D3 damage with crit auto wound. Okay, they have an ability. Reaction, your opponent declares a spell ability. Spell Eaters. Effect, if a friendly Nighthaunt unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit was picked to be the target of that spell, so not the caster, but the picked to be the target of that spell, this unit can use the Unbind ability as if it had a Wizard 1. Add a 1 to the Unbinding roll for that ability. If that spell is unbound, inflict D3 mortal damage on the caster. Oh my god. These abilities are so strong. They like... This is so strong. Right? Like it's... This attack profile is great. I mean, everything's points, but this looks really good. So does this thing. So does this thing, and so does this thing. These things all look great. I don't know what we do against it as orcs, though. Or even gits. Kill their heroes, I guess. Stand on objectives. We probably have better control than them. Right? So it's like put a lot of feet on objectives. They're gonna like run around and charge. Fine. Plant your feet on objectives and be like, I'm gonna control these objectives, and you're gonna run around the battlefield, and I'm not gonna chase you. And I'm just going to sit here and either shoot at you, or it's like, you have to come into combat with me. You're not just going to have strike first all the time. Like, you're going to have to actually fight me. Right? And it's like you have rend, like like brutes have rend or whatever. But they just throw a lot of dice. A lot of Ironjaw buff actually go off attacks. The rend is not like a big centerpiece for buffs. Or at least not that we've seen. That's not the Wa anyway, right? I don't know. I don't know. We'll probably get them. Anyway, I got some stuff I gotta do, so take care, and thanks for hanging out, and I appreciate your input, and like, subscribe, bye. I mean, like, subscribe. Wah. I meant to say wah, I'm sorry.